Greetings, everyone. This is Payman Lorenzo, host of the Leaders Without podcast. I have a very special friend, my very good friend, Jaime. Wow, Jaime is, this is what I love about this podcast. I get connected to people through other people. We get connected through a good friend of ours, Lisann, wonderful lady. And then we had a chat, and the chat, ended up in Jaime joining is one of the alumni of my first class for my 3-week launch of podcast challenge. And over the past month, we've got to know each other. Is a wonderful gentleman, super heart centered, and he has a tremendous story. Jaime is originally from Colombia. He's been blessed since he was born with a tremendous gift, the gift of lucid dreamings and understanding lucid dreamings, and now he's working on that. And he's manifested quite a lot of things in his life through his lucid dreams. The first thing he manifested when he was 18, back in Colombia, he asked his higher self where would be the best place for him to evolve, and he saw in his mind California. So he just did that, moved to California when he was 18, and after that, he while building a life for him, one day he manifested his ideal business at the time, back in 2005, which was back in 1997, which was a spa business. So as soon as he saw it, he started getting emotional and crying, and he said this is it, and he ended up buying the business. He built a business to until 2005, where he sold it. And he also manifested his dream $1 million home in California over a year and a half ago, and now he's living in it. So he's been blessed with this incredible skill of lucid dreaming. And he also launched a podcast after completing my program. His podcast is called Dream of Today. I love his tagline, his motto, his mission in life, which is inspiring people to listen to their dreams, because your dreams can guide you into a much more fulfilling and joyful life, and also because our dreams tell us a lot, so we need to pay more attention to that. So this is something that's going to be a wonderful conversation, not just with another guest, but an actual friend. So, amigo Jaime, bienvenido. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Payman. Thank you for having me in your show. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
Pleasure's all mine. So, the kind of conversation I like to have on my podcast is to have a look under the hood, so to speak, to look into your heart, to have a heart-to-heart conversation. Hence the name Leaders with a Heart. So, are you ready?
I'm very ready. Thank you.
All right. Okay.
Waiting for
Awesome.
it.
Okay. Beautiful. So now, for people who don't know you, Jaime, who's Jaime as a person, as a human being? We're gonna talk about your business in a moment, but first, as a human being, as a person, tell us, who is Jaime?
Jaime is a very curious person that likes to explore things that are beyond comprehension. And I always have been that since I was a child, interested in the beyond, looking into the stars,
Wow.
way beyond. And I find out that because of my mom, I'm always interested in the more spiritual side of us. We always want to explore more the physical side, learn more of it, so we can navigate this dense earth. But for me, I was more into wanting to explore more what it would be to find more of who I am as a spiritual being.
Love
And
that.
so Jaime, it's a very curious explorer.
Isn't being curious one of the greatest gifts to be? Because we're talking about that just before going live. This life is like a school, as a buffet for us to try and experiment as many things as possible. And being curious is one of the best way to do so, to accomplish that. So,
Exactly. And I have learned that when you become open mind to explore and experience, new things start appearing. Your perception gets expanded to
totally.
new things, new experiences.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now tell us, what makes you happy as a person? So let me track back. I'm gonna now ask you a series of rapid fire questions to get to know you better as a person. So first of all, tell us, Jaime, what makes you happy as a person?
Oh, I dancing, singing,
Oh,
uh, walking around the garden without shoes to ground myself. I look up into the sky, and I'm always grateful that I live and I have this opportunity to be in a world that is physical, is dense, and that's what we came here for, to experience, to have some, to love, to connect with people. That makes me very happy to be able to feel people's energies, physically and energetically, spiritually. And for some reason, that lights me up. That makes me very happy.
Love that. Now tell us, what makes you smile?
Seeing another person smiling. And if they're not smiling, I will try to send that energy of happiness,
Mhm.
and look at somebody else and give them a smile too back and say hello, how you doing? Acknowledging people. That makes me smile.
Love that. Now let's take the happiness factor a couple of notches higher. What makes you come alive? What makes your heart sing?
Okay. When I see someone that it's also tapping into a higher level of consciousness, that makes me happy, because if we bring awareness to ourselves and find out who we are, then we light up the whole world, the whole universe.
Mhm.
So that makes me light up. That makes me be amazed and happy, because that's our purpose here.
Exactly. I agree totally. Now, on the other side of the spectrum, tell us what makes you sad and angry?
That's a hard one to answer, Payment, because it's not easy for me to be sad, and it's not easy for me to get angry.
That's beautiful. That's an amazing place to be. Yeah, wow.
Right. So I'm in constant joy for some reason. I'm constantly in a happy energy. I don't allow the energy. I don't give any energy to something that it doesn't serve me well. So why put energy into that when I can actually be happy all the time and smile all the time? So don't give energy to something that doesn't serve you.
I love that. That's a beautiful place to be. So how did you get there? Was that something that you were able to achieve gradually over the years, or was that something that you're always like that? So tell us, and also maybe if you can share some tips for anyone who's looking to get to that place where they happy and they're not gonna, it's very hard for them to get sad and angry and all that. So tell us your story. Were you able to reach that level, and if you have any tips for anyone listening right now?
Okay, definitely. Well, for me, because of my experiences of dreams and lucid dreaming,
Hmm.
once I realized that I was able to wake up in my dream and change my narrative of things, tweak things out
Wow.
there, I noticed a change also in the physical.
Wow.
So I learned to manipulate things, to tweak them out there so it will work for me here
To control
on
and
Earth.
direct. I'm almost like a movie director.
Yes, well, we are. When we are in our dreams, we are like a director. We are our own director, our own movie. So if I don't like that narrative in my dreams, I will change it.
Mm.
That will serve me. And I noticed that when I did that, it was also changing my paradigm here on Earth, on
Wow.
this physical
Beautiful.
plane.
Beautiful.
So I learned that for me to get to where I am now, once you realize that, you start not worrying too much about how things are going to go, because you know they're going to go well, because
Mm.
you are the creator of your life every minute. Every minute
Totally.
that passes, you're creating what you want to say, how you want to act. It's you are the director. And also you are the actor of your own movie.
Totally.
So act the way you want to live, and
Absolutely.
then you'll manifest. You put the energy into the alignment with the field and the creation and a mode, and start creating that life you want. So I
Mhm.
decided for me to create a life of happiness, of joy, and to allow myself to discover new things, and just live an awesome life. Why not? Why do we want to live in a life that is sad and and crying and being unhappy? There's no reason to. Yeah, there's a lot of things going on out there and things like that, but sometimes we have that power to change it.
And one way to do that would be to not listen and watch the news that much, because the news is
Yeah,
only going to make you more upset over things you have no control. Instead, focus. This is what I do. I focus on what matters to me: my business, my health, my family, my hobbies. Because how is that going to affect me? What control do I have if, for example, this politician did this or this thing is happening?
exactly.
It's not gonna. I have no control over that, but I have a control over what happens in my life, over what I
Exactly.
do, over what I think, what I focus. So this is a powerful lesson I learned a few years ago, and I haven't watched the news. We have a TV at home, but we never use it to watch the news. It's always to watch a good sports game or a good, classic movies from the past, or documentary or things like that, but we don't watch the news.
Exactly. We can create our own reality.
Hmm.
So for me, I don't watch the news neither because that's not my reality. But however, I do send positive energy and healing energy to the world. That's the only thing I
Yeah,
can do.
absolutely.
I can't do anything to make the world,
Influence a politician or whatever to
yeah,
change different. Yeah,
I can't
exactly. No, exactly.
exactly. So you get
And
me.
and I heard also one of the best advice I've ever heard is that, first, don't watch the news, and second, if something is important, you will know about it because people around you
Exactly.
will tell you. So you don't need to be, glued to the TV 5 hours a day. Okay, what's gonna happen? What's gonna happen? Forget that. Focus on
Yeah, we're
yourself.
good.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Thank you.
So
Exactly.
rather than that, I started just reading books. I started instead of that, I am doing something that is serving me in my
Mhm.
growth.
Yes. Speaking of that, I remember one thing I really was impressed and loved about you is that, remember when we had our party a couple of weeks ago, when about after completing the podcasting show, and you said over the past 2 years you've accumulated an entire collection of certificates. This is wonderful. This is a great example of that. So well done.
Yes, yes, definitely. This pandemic here, being almost 2 years in at home, it helped me go take classes online.
Yeah.
What else? I mean, I'm a stay-home dad. What else am I gonna do? I wasn't gonna be sad and bored and what's with my life, what I'm gonna do with my
Yeah.
life. So I decided to take a yoga class online and I got my certificate. Take a Reiki class, a master
Wow.
Reiki class online, and I got it. Another Reiki class on learning how to work with energy spheres, which I love it, and another one with Kabbalistic energy healing and all that stuff. So that, and then the podcast class, that was the best thing that I could have ever done because it's giving me a voice
Yes, I
to
love what you said.
express.
That it opened your throat chakra. That
Yes,
was the greatest,
exactly.
compliment I ever received. Is wow. I wasn't.
Yes,
I was really touched by that.
yes, you start aligning with the things that you want to manifest. And when you are in alignment with that, the right people start coming to your life to
Totally.
help you get there and create that life that you want. I always wanted to try podcasts and I was so afraid because I go, man, I'm not a public speaking person.
What was the number one
And
thing? Sorry, what was holding you back? Because when I ask people on my podcast, "Do you have your podcast?" 80 to 90% will say no, and when I say why, two reasons: I, um, I don't have the time, and I'm not a techie. What was your main thing holding you back?
well, mine was too. I'm not a tech person, and I am not a public speaking person.
Mm.
So my
Was it
throat chakra was
shyness?
closed.
Was it shyness? Were you shy, or that was
Yes,
nothing to do with shy?
I'm always been a shy person actually,
Okay.
because the reason is because I was always made fun of because I was a dream. I'm always
Dreamy.
a daydreaming. Yeah,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
I'm the
and
same.
they always and they always call me the dream boy. Because I was always
Yeah.
dreaming.
Come back to
So
reality.
and
Yeah.
so yes, they'll tell me come back to reality all the time. So I thought that I was different than everyone else. So I withdraw myself. I close myself up.
Yes, yes,
So I
yes.
didn't speak as much. And then when I took your class payment podcast, something wonderful happened. My throat chakra opened up, and I
Wow.
started feeling more confident. And I knew that I could do this and share my wisdom, my experiences, my voice with the world. And that's what I want to do. So you came at the right time. You were placed in my life. Like I said, the God, the universe brings up the people into your life that are going to help you evolve. And that's what I always pray for.
Absolutely. First of all, thank you. It's really means a lot hearing that from you, because you're not just a guest, you're not just a client. From now, I consider you a friend and even a brother, because you're a wonderful human being. And coming that from you, it really touches me. I'm really emotional. So thank you for that.
Thank
It
you.
means a
Thank you.
lot. The greatest reward in any business is is not the money, but the transformation that you see in the lives
Exactly.
of the people. And just like you mentioned, something very powerful is that everything and everyone happens at the right time, for a
Exactly.
reason, at the right time when you're ready. When Because even for me, starting a podcast, I started in October of 2000. October of 2020. I've been involved in podcasts. I was a co-host with other people on podcasts for 5 years prior to that. But just like you said, I was shy. I didn't want to do it my own. And finally, in October 2020, it was the right time for me to do it. And after that, just by miracles, the right people starting just by magic,
Yes.
showing up and appearing and all that. It's been an incredible journey. So wow.
Yeah,
And
and also we had to pay attention to the messages that come across through another
Mhm,
person.
totally.
Like for instance, my beautiful friend Lisann
Oh yes.
told me about take this class in podcast, and I say, oh no, I just don't have the time. I don't have the means. I don't. And she insisted again, like
Wow.
like kind of like be open, to it. And I did. I'm so glad I did. And then I realized that sometimes there are messages being sent to you that you are ready for that, to do that. And we kind of close ourselves up.
Totally.
So
Absolutely
I'm glad that
beautiful.
I stay open minded and took me where I am now. So thank you, Lisann.
Absolutely. Yes, we definitely need to thank her. And I've thanked her as well. So yes. But again, the point, the message here is that we need to listen to what our gut feeling is telling us. People around us, even, for example, complete strangers. Like, I understand you and Lisanne connected on Clubhouse not recently. So in your life, she's a fresh addition to your life. She's not like a friend that you grew up with. She was here. She came here for a reason, to make you
Exactly.
understand that, hey, Jaime, this is your time.
Yes,
We have these
definitely.
people that show up at other times that out of the blue say something that, wow, how do you know about that? But because they were here for a reason. They were a messenger in a way. Yeah.
Exactly. So pay attention to symbols, to signs, to numbers. Someone might tell you something that you were thinking about, but you kind of like
Mm,
two things can happen. You take notice of it or you
yes.
ignore it.
And ignoring it is dangerous.
And ignoring is dangerous because you're going to miss out a great opportunity.
And also perfect. And also because our gut feeling, it's coming from our subconscious, from our higher self. And subconscious and higher self has two purposes: to protect us and to guide us. So it's not our
Exactly.
enemy, it's it's our biggest friend. And we need to listen to that. Absolutely. Wonderful. Wow. This is starting wonderfully well. So I love that, Jaime. But let me ask you a few more questions about to getting to know you. Now, tell us, what scares you?
What scares me is not to do the things that I'm capable of doing.
Mm,
We all have the potential of becoming whoever we want, and to do to manifest our dreams. So what scares me is not to do it,
mm,
just hold myself back
yes.
when I have so much light in me, and we all have the light, the knowledge, the wisdom to make this world better,
Mhm.
and not do it.
Absolutely. Wow. Amazing. Now, tell us, what is your personal number one personal superpower?
I think my superpower, oh dear. um, my superpower, I believe, is love. Is
Oh,
being able to
that's a
connect with people
beautiful.
and just kind of just love people,
Mm,
and connect energetically with them.
love
That's
that.
what gets me. That's my superpower,
That-
connecting with people energetically. Entanglement.
That's a beautiful one. Wow, love that. And I love the way you framed it. It's not just connecting, it's love. Because when you connect
Yes,
people, you're spreading love. Absolutely. This is one of the best definitions of being a connector I've heard. So that's awesome. You
yes.
know, always learn new things. Now, let's move forward. You like traveling, right?
And what?
You like traveling.
Yes, I do like traveling.
Tell us, what was the very first trip you took?
Oh, in 2018, my whole family, we always dreamt of a fabulous vacation
Mm,
to Europe. So that manifested for us. We stayed 6 weeks
wow.
in over Europe. So our dream came true, and we were able to travel with our daughter, Spain, Madrid,
Oh,
Barcelona,
wow.
Paris, England, London, Edinburgh, Brussels,
Wow.
Netherlands. Um, it was a fantastic trip. 6 weeks. We were like, wow, how did this happen?
Yeah,
And
yeah,
you
yeah.
know what? When you have faith, things start happening for you and manifesting, and you get the best trip ever or anything you want.
Totally. Now, let me take you on a different type of traveling. Let me take you down memory line. Go back to, when we young boys, kids growing up, people around us, friends, family, parents, teachers always ask us, so Jaime, what do you want to become when you grow up? What was your answer back then as a young boy?
Oh, I didn't want to grow up. and
That's a
and that's
good, right?
dangerous. And that's dangerous when you say that, because I'm at this age where I am
Did you actually
now.
say
I
that?
still,
Did you
yes,
actually say
I
that?
did. Yes. And I'm still feel the same child as I was when I was 12 years old.
Wow.
Yes, and that brings me back to what my daughter asked me. My daughter is 8 years old, Margaret, and she asked me, "Papa, what do you want? What do you want to do when you grow up?" And I said, "Margaret, I never
He
grow
asked
up. I
you.
still, yes, and I still
Wow.
the same. I'm still the same child."
Yeah, I want to be like you, Margaret.
Yeah, yeah. So
Awesome.
yeah.
Now, going to when you were a kid, what was your relationship with school? Did you like school? Did you hate school?
Oh, wait, wow. I honestly did not like school. I
Why?
because I was always daydreaming.
Oh
I
yeah,
had other things that I wanted to do
in your
and
mind and all
explore
that.
in my
Yeah.
mind. Yes, and those things were not offered in the school for me. The things that they were teaching did not align with me. So therefore, I was not interested. I mean, I, I did study and all stuff. I did fairly well in school, but the subjects that I wanted to study, as in getting to know who I am as a person, spiritually, and all that stuff, I just don't feel like I had that in school.
So
You know.
going as a so when you were a kid in school, what was your favorite subject? Did you have any?
Yeah, I did. I did. English was one of them.
Okay.
And perhaps because he had to do that, I had the dream of coming to California. So
Yes.
I was always really good at English, biology, um, um, no math. I was not very good at math.
Me neither.
No. But the science of dreams, when my teachers talk about dreams, that was very interesting to me.
Imagine.
And yeah, so, and sometimes she will talk about Bible paragraphs,
Studies.
and
Yeah.
when I will ask about dreams, she'll give me um, uh, um, paragraphs about when the prophets would have a dream and they will be taken out in the spirit and being shown things. So I will go home and I will start praying I wanted to experience that. And that's how my lucid dreaming started too, that I would pray for God. I want to experience what these men in the past experience. I want to know how is it feel? And that's when it started happening.
We're gonna talk about your lucid dreams in a moment because that's something very fascinating. But let me ask you now a couple of more questions on that. What was your very first job?
Oh, my first job when I came to the United States.
Did you have any jobs in Colombia or
No,
you were
I
too
did
young?
not.
How old were
No,
you
I
when you
did
left
not.
Colombia?
I was 19.
Oh, 19. Okay, so you were just in
Yeah.
school. Okay.
Yeah, just in school. My dad did not want us to go to work.
Okay, good, good. So what was your first job in
Although,
California?
I'm sorry, although, however, I can say that he did take us to the body shop where he worked for us
Okay.
to learn about body shop, but I was not interested.
Okay. So what was
That
your
was not
first
my thing.
what was your first job when you moved to California?
The people I live with in California, they own like 5 Marie calendars,
Okay.
restaurants. So I got to work in one of them. And that's where my first job was as a waiter.
Okay, I see.
And they were wonderful people that I dreamt of when I was in Colombia and I was coming to the United States. I dreamt that I was going to be with an elderly couple in a big house, like a California ranch style home,
Wow.
and that they were going to take good care of me and they were going to put me in a school and get me a job. I saw everything like my life going through.
Were these people family, relatives, or complete
No,
strangers?
strangers,
Wow.
strangers. And when I actually met them, they they took they I was 19 at the time,
Wow.
um, and they knew I needed a place to stay because the people I was with, they needed to go back to missionaries to Colombia. And then this lady, I call it Grandma Dalton, she grabbed my hand in church and said, "Kiddo, you're coming to live with us."
Wow.
And then when she touched my hand, I knew that was the person in my dream.
Wonderful. Wow.
Yes. And then they took me to their home, and that's when my life started right there in their home.
So did you
They
move
be-
did you move
I
to
moved with
California by yourself, a family, or
by myself.
wow, that's pretty
Yeah.
courageous. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, let's talk about your lucid dreaming. So tell us when that started. Was that you mentioned that you were about 10, 12 at the time your mother also understood about lucid dreams. Did your mother teach you or prepare you or told you about that, or was it something you found out on your own?
When my mom has always been a spiritual person too,
Mm,
and she already understood about lucid dreaming, astral projection.
mm.
But my experience has to do more with when I with the connection with the Bible, you
Okay.
know, and the dreams that are explained in the Bible, and also the spiritual experiences that these people were having in the spirit, that the Lord came and showed them things, took them in the spirit and showed them things. So I knew within me, inside of me, that I could have that experience too if you try to connect with the source.
Yes.
And that's what I did. I asked for the experience, and that's what happened. I start feeling the sensations and everything that I felt like I was being ripped out of my skin.
Wow. Beautiful.
And I knew that that was part of the what the Bible probably described. And so I was not even scared. Once I allow it to happen and to do whatever needed to be doing, the sensations, some vibrations, sleep paralysis, things like that,
Wow.
because I was trusting the process. That's when I was able to experience the out of body experience.
Were you sharing those with your mother or you were just keeping
Yes,
them for
I
yourself?
share it with my mother because I asked her if that's how it was, and she said yes. Those were the stages how it will proceed to have an out of body experience. So and also because I trusted that that was coming from God, then I was not scared. I was not afraid.
Wow. So
And
you
when
add,
once you pass the being afraid, wonderful things
course.
start happening.
So when you add your out of body experiences, would you go in any beautiful place? Tell us about the places you went to while doing astral projection and out of body experiences.
Yeah, my astral projection experiences, I always have wanted to experience my higher self.
Mm.
So before going to bed, I set my intentions. I said I want to experience my higher self, and also I put another programming or affirmation that I want to be able to recall my dreams or my experiences. because sometimes we wake up and we forget. So so I um, set my intention. I want to experience my higher self, and if you go through the vibrations through sleep paralysis, and then you suddenly you start going like into a tunnel, a speed of light,
Wow.
and you experience the void. There's nothing. It's just you. And suddenly there's this big golden light, and then like angelical voices around you. And then I remembered that when I saw that, I didn't freak out. I stayed calm, because if you freaked out or you start thinking, "Am I, is this real or whatever?" You come back to your body. So don't think anything. Just allow the experience to proceed, to keep doing what it's doing. And with this golden light, I just felt like I was within the source. The interesting thing is I wanted to pass the golden light, but did not let me. So what I did was, I remembered that I started praying. I said, Lord, people in earth need help. We're going through a lot of things right now. We need your energy, your blessings, your love, kindness, and all that stuff, healing. And then when I did that, I came back to my body. So I felt like I did my purpose. It was to send a message to my higher self that we need help, we need healing. Yeah.
Wow, phenomenal. So to get to that stage, so that you do not freak out, you do not start thinking with your ego and all that, I guess you've had to do a lot of meditation to get to that place, right?
Yeah, I meditate and I do my prayer and I do my intentions, and I start listening to some hemisync guided meditation, and then I start getting into the hypnagogic state between sleep and no sleep.
Mhm.
And that's when I know that something is going to start happening. So I just stay calm and relax, and I don't think about my body anymore. I don't think about the physical forms anymore. I just allow myself to become um, non-physical, detaching myself from everything.
So do you sometimes, when you have your astral projection, go in space, in universe, to other
Yes,
galaxies, or other?
yes,
Tell us
definitely.
about those.
Yes, recently I was outside my garden, and this is what I do. It's a practice that everyone can do if you want to have these kind of experiences. Is practice in real life something that you want to experience in your dream. It's
Oh,
called
really?
dream incubation,
Wow.
incubating your dream. So I go in my yard and I looked up on the sky, and then I jump and I say up to the sky or up to the clouds,
Wow.
or physically I say it. I want to experience being outside the planet so I could see the whole planet. So the more you practice that, it's going to play out in your dreams too. So recently I did that, and in my dream I became aware that I was dreaming. And then I looked up and there were the clouds. And then I was trying to jump up, but I couldn't. And I said, oh no. And then I remembered something I could say. I said, I release myself from everything that is holding me back so I can move forward. And when I say
Beautiful.
that, I went up into the sky, flying up, up, up. And then I went out in space, and then I saw the planet Earth. And then
Wow.
I remember expanding my arms like this, extending my arms and sending healing to the planet.
Beautiful.
And then
Wow.
I put my hand like that and I came back down. Then when I woke up, I realized that that's the same things that is happening to us here on Earth. That things are holding us back because we need to release whatever situation mentally and emotionally we're holding in our body is holding us back from doing something to become more that we want to be.
How do you release what's holding you back? How do you know what's
Uh,
holding? First of all, how do you know what's holding you back? And two, once you've realized that, you've identified it, how do you release it.
Yeah, your fears, your
Mm.
belief system, your if you have had a trauma or something that you want to try something new, but you aren't there because someone told you you can do it.
False
It plays out in your
stories you tell
mind.
yourself. The false
Exactly.
stories.
Your
Yeah.
narratives. Yeah.
Mm.
So those fears plays out also in your dreams. And when you're able to identify those those narratives, you can change it in your dreams, like I did. With an affirmation, I release myself from everything that's holding me back, so I can move forward. And you can say that also in your physical form. If anything that's holding you back from getting the job you want, if anything that's holding you back from owning your own business, if anything that's holding you back, like to launch yourself to have a podcast, so you say the affirmation, so you start shedding all these layers of things that are coming, holding you prisoner in
False
your
beliefs.
thoughts,
So all you say is, I release everything that's holding me back
so I can move forward.
so I can move forward to reach my
Yes,
goal. Okay,
to reach my
beautiful.
goals. Yeah.
I will definitely, I'm so glad I'm recording this. It's a wonderful conversation. I will definitely be implementing that myself. That's wonderful. Wow. So when you were doing your astral projection, did you end up going into other planets and other, did you see other, did you get in touch with other beings like extraterrestrials and things like that?
You know what? I have been in other energy forms,
Mhm.
any other places, and I have seen. Have you seen the movie Tomorrowland?
Let me write this down. I'll check it.
Tomorrowland. I think
Is
it's
it
by Disney.
is it on Netflix?
I believe
Tomorrowland.
so. It could
Tomorrow. I'll
be
check it. Okay, I'll check it.
Tomorrowland.
Mhm.
And I tell you, before I saw the movie, I had this dream where I went through a tunnel, and I went into this place where it was futuristic.
Yeah.
And also I remember being one of these beings. It looked just like us.
Mhm.
And I remember going to a restaurant there and sitting down and eating their food, and it was delicious. It was enhanced even more. I could taste it. And when I was going to pay, they said that, oh, you must not be from here because you don't have to pay. They didn't
Wow.
pay. The character, the dream character, um, knew that I was not from there because, you know, I was different. But they took all kinds of forms. I could tell that these people, they will take him in and they will feed you. And everything was futuristic, and they but they were just like us, beautiful people, and the energy was just beautiful. So if you look at the movie Tomorrowland, when I saw that movie, I go, oh my gosh, the director must have had that kind of dream, or
Wow.
a writer, because this is exactly pretty much what I saw in my experiences. I see things like that. So that's why the movies now, they are these movies that are like Inception, The Matrix. This has to do with lucid dreaming.
Wait. Okay. So you said Inception.
Inception, The Matrix.
I love the
There's
Matrix.
many
Yeah.
movies. There are many movies now out there with the theme of lucid dreaming and astral projection.
Like Odyssey 2001 and all that.
Yeah,
Those are
there's
two.
many movies now. Mhm.
Oh yeah.
You
Wow.
type movies with lucid dreaming and you see a lot.
Movies with lucid dreaming. Okay. Wow.
Yes,
I'll
and
definitely
I was
check
in
that.
I was in a chat in Clubhouse with some TV directors and movie directors and things like that. And when I was invited to speak, someone invited me to speak. My question was if they have used lucid dreaming for their movies, and they write in the scripts, and they always start clapping with their microphones, and they say, Jaime, yes, we use lucid dreaming for this. That's how we're creative,
Wow.
So definitely.
Absolutely. Wow. I'm so glad that you now have, You have a podcast to we're gonna talk about your podcast in a moment for you to talk about that because this is phenomenal. This is fascinating. It's captivating. You can talk about that and eventually through your podcast, through your content, write books about that because I see this going incredible. This is gonna be wow. This is fascinating. I can talk to you for hours and hours, not only because you're a friend, but also because your skill is something I'm extremely passionate about. I'm extremely interested in it. So that's amazing. Wow.
Yeah, and the one thing too, very important is once you start experiencing this, find yourself a community, people that can be supportive of you.
Mm,
I went to the Monroe Institute in Virginia, and I
okay.
studied with William Bullman, and
Okay.
he's one of the best in the field of lucid dreaming and astral projection. And there's many books of him out there. So I went to the Monroe Institute, taking classes with very high, well-known lucid dreamers, Charlie Morley, Claire Johnson. So all these people, they have enhanced the understanding of the evolution of consciousness. These
Wonderful.
people are able to help the whole world now if we tap into this to become more understanding of who we are and take us to a higher level of consciousness. And that's our purpose, to
Love that.
teach people.
Love that. Wow. Wow. What can we say? This is phenomenal. So let me now backtrack a little bit. I'm sure you heard the saying that says, change your story, change your mind. And by story, I mean what we tell ourselves on a daily basis inside our head. So when you, Jaime, had to change your story to either change your life or bring your life to where you want it to be, how did you do it? Did you do it to the help of friends, family, mentors, books, videos? So tell us the process you used to change your story to change your life.
Yes, definitely. We can change our narrative, our create a better life for ourselves by educating ourselves,
Mm,
listening to podcasts that resonates with you, reading books that align with what you feel, and start talking to people that also feels like or have experiences this like for me, lucid dreaming astral projection. I created a community on Facebook where I can invite people that have had these experiences, but they're too shy to talk about them because of the people are going to think that they're crazy. This is woo woo. This is evil. So you don't need that kind of people in your life because these people do is they stop your growth, spiritual growth, because they don't know anything of this. So they have to label it as evil or negative when it's not. It's part of who we are. So yes, books, podcast, um, align yourself with that you want to experience and you're part of.
amazing. Love that. Now, let's talk about your business and your podcast. Tell us about your business and what tell us about the beautiful impact you're having in the world right now.
Well, it started, like I said, when we had to be enclosed at home back
Mhm.
in March. I got invited. I was nothing else to do, just being like I
Mhm.
said, stay home dad. A friend of mine, Jay Menace, had written a book called Spark, the eight mental habits of highly successful people. So he sent me this book for me to read, my friend Jay Menace,
Okay.
and for my birthday.
Wow.
And once I read that, it totally changed my frame, my mental frame, my um, mental habits that I had, that I could be doing much more. In his book, he mentions that we can create the kind of job we want if it doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
That opened my eyes, and I said, you know what? I would like to speak. I would want to do many things and give a voice to my lucid dream, my out of body experiences, And so he invited me to Clubhouse, and he said to me, "You need to go and shine your light." And Jay Menes also interviews movie stars and things like that in Hollywood. And I say, okay, oh, that's fine. So he put me there. And that's how I started talking about lucid dreaming on Clubhouse. And then one thing led to another. And I started getting invited to podcasts, interviewing podcasts. So now it's like my 10th interview now.
Wow.
So I'm very excited that where it's taking me, because something that you want to do, the energy that you put out there, it will come back to you, and it will take you, it will lead you to the right place.
Totally, absolutely love that. Now, and one of the major achievements in your well that you've done, and I'm really curious to know more about what's your vision for your podcast. So tell us about your podcast and tell us what you want to achieve with your podcast now. Now that you have a
Yeah.
podcast.
Oh, yes, definitely. This is beautiful. Thanks to the great teacher that you have been,
Oh, thank you.
Payment. Now I have the tools, the skills that I need to be able to continue exploring new things and be able to share my wisdom, my knowledge, my experiences with the world, because
Mhm.
that's what we're here for. Everything that we learn, we need to implement it. We cannot hold it back,
Mhm.
because if we do, we're missing our blessings,
Yeah.
and we're missing also the blessing to someone else
Yes.
that is going to help someone else.
Hmm.
So with the podcast now, the Dreamer of Today, that's the name of our podcast. It will be for me to a good way to teach people how to lucid dream, how to have out of body experiences, and the fears that comes along with it, so we can get past that, and we can move forward with our spiritual life.
Awesome. And who would you say is your ideal listener, your ideal client for your podcast? Who would be the person that would benefit the most from listening to your podcast?
Dreamers, light workers, any business owners, anyone. You know what? We all dreams. Kids dream. We dream.
Yeah,
Anyone can benefit from this. Parents can benefit from this, so they can help their children when they're having nightmares. How to help them, like my mom did with me. So I think this will embrace everyone that wants to learn more about the science of dreams and how to use it for your own healing, your own creativity, your own benefit. And then the most important thing for me is to connect with the source through the
yes,
through dreams.
absolutely. So, are you looking to build a business around helping people get in touch with their dreams and better understand to dream and better control and direct their dreams? Is that what you have in mind?
Yeah, that's it. That's in mind, and I will go along with it and see where it's gonna take me.
Okay,
Because you got to be open minded, and
sure.
see where this experience is gonna take you. So
That's a
I'm open
beautiful
to that.
that's a beautiful business because just like you said, I would say pretty much everyone can benefit from it because we all deep down, a lot of people are not fulfilled with what they're doing in their lives. They're doing it because they have to do, because they have bills, families, responsibilities, and stuff like that. But deep down, they're not happy, even though they might be making good money. But deep down, they're empty, and that could be one way to get to get in touch with what who they really are, find their bliss, find just like you said, their joy. And one ways to do that is through their dreams.
Yes,
So
we are
absolutely,
dreamers. We
all of
are
us.
all dreamers. So
As
this can benefit everyone.
Yeah, that's one of the few businesses that can, in business, we always say, find your ideal client, find someone very specific. But this is one of the businesses, one of the exceptions, just like food and shelter and clothes, everyone needs that. Just like that, dreaming, that's something that we all do. As long as you have a pulse, you dream, and then that can really help you. So that's amazing. Wow. You're going to be changing a lot of lives. I can't wait to have you back and say in a few months to listen to some of your testimonials and success stories of the people you've helped change and transform their lives. I can't wait for that.
Yes, thank you, Payman. I enjoyed sharing this with everyone.
Mhm.
My goal is to have people understand that the importance of dreams and listening and becoming more aware of them and pay
Mhm.
attention to them, because constantly we're having messages through dreams and we don't pay attention to them. And when you
Yes,
pay attention to your dream, that's when your life is going to change.
absolutely. And that's a beautiful cause to go for, because that's what we all need. All of us, doesn't matter what age you're in. Deep down, the child in us never dies. And if you allow the child in you to die, in my opinion, I mean, life is has no meaning, because it's as a child in us, the inner child, it allows us to be happy, playful, joyful, to
Yes,
laugh, to smile, and just have a good time. Anytime you laugh, you smile, that's a inner child in you that's doing that, you know.
exactly.
Even
And
though you
keep
might
that
be
child.
even
Yeah.
though you might be 78, 94, whatever, I'm just throwing numbers, you know. The
Yes.
inner child always comes out.
Unknown caller. Sorry.
No worries.
Yes, and also imagination. Don't let your
Yes,
imagination die, because
totally.
without imagination, there's nothing.
Absolutely.
So
And
always, whatever you do, always do it with be happy, be joyful, and see life as something amazing that you're here
yes,
for.
yes. Speaking of imagination, I think it was Albert Einstein who said, imagination is everything.
Yes, without
Mhm.
imagination, we're nothing really. You
Totally.
know.
Yeah. Because everything you see around you was started in someone's imagination around you. The mic you're talking, the computer, the chair you're sitting on, the glass,
Yeah.
everything around you, the car you're driving, the house you're living in, the clothes you're wearing, the glass, everything was created based because of someone's imagination. So now the
Yeah.
question is, what can you and me imagine to create and bring so we can bless the world with? Now that's a question each of us will have to ask ourselves every day.
Exactly. Yes.
Lon,
Definitely.
listen, Jaime, I love talking to you. You're amazing. But let's start wrapping this up. Let me finish by asking you a series of rapid fire questions on advices. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready.
All right. What's the best piece of advice you've ever received so far?
My grandma Dalton will say to me, kiddo, don't be so hard on yourself.
Beautiful words, Grandma. I agree with her. And what would you say has been the worst piece of advice you've received so far?
Um, no one is going to find out, because they do find out at the end.
Sooner or later, yes. Because we're all energy. We all, send
Yes,
vibrations, and that's something that even though you might not say it physically with your mouth, the frequency, the
yes,
vibes, that's something you have no
yes,
control over. It's gonna be sent.
exactly. Yeah.
Beautiful. Wow. Now imagine that you're blessed to have a time machine now. You can go back in time and sit face to face with an 18-year-old Jaime. What's the number one advice you would give to him knowing all that you know now?
I'll say to my 18-year-old self, uh, eh, trust the process. Everything is going to work out at the end.
Mm,
And if it doesn't work out at the end, it's
make it
not
work.
the end. It's
Yeah,
not the end. It's gonna work out. Everything's gonna be
absolutely.
fine.
Love that.
Yes.
Now, now that you have your podcast, imagine that today you have the most amazing, the most special person as your guest. You're interviewing yourself. Okay. What's the first question you want to ask yourself? Don't think too much. What is the first question that comes to your mind?
How do you do it?
Your answer?
I study,
Go with the flow. Yes.
go with the flow,
Awesome. Awesome. Now,
learn the skill, learn the skill,
yes, that's
study,
so true.
learn something new.
My favorite question to ask now is, what's the smallest thing you've done that has had the biggest positive impact in your life and business? And by small, I don't mean something small. I mean the one thing you've done that has had the greatest positive impact so far in both your life and business.
Taking action.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Love that.
because yeah, if you don't take action, nothing happens. You
Totally.
got to move the energy, otherwise get stagnant.
Absolutely. Awesome. Now I have to ask you a question about me. I know you're very nice and kind, but this time I don't want you to be nice. I want you to be direct. Give me tough love. Tell me, do you have any tips for me to improve my podcast?
Wow, that was a tough question.
Don't be nice. Be direct, because the more direct you are, that's when you're gonna really be, it's gonna really help me the most.
Well, not being nice, okay. I don't think you're doing a great job.
Yeah.
And that's the honest truth,
I appreciate that. I
So not
appreciate
even
that.
be nice, you just you.
Okay.
I like it that you're authentic.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that.
And that's
All
it.
right. Beautiful. Thank you, my friend. I really appreciate that. Now, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the best way to do so?
Yes, the people can find me with my full name, Jaime Lundquist-Munoz, on Facebook
Okay.
and also in Instagram.
Same name?
And same name,
Okay.
Jaime Lundquist-Munoz on
Uh-huh.
Facebook. And if anyone's interested in joining a group, Lucid Dreaming Astral Projection, which I have about 8,000 people there, you're
Wow.
welcome to join. I do have
So
authors.
wait, what's the name of the group?
One is called Astral Projectors,
Wait, Astral Projectors. Yeah.
and the other one is Lucid Dreaming Out of Body Experience, OBE. I'll give it to you. And both combined, there are like 8,000 people there. And I tell
Beautiful.
you, they're great people that are in these groups, authors of books in lucid dreaming, teachers in lucid dreaming that are in these groups. They're doctors, they're nurses, they're architects, they're all kinds of walk of life people in there.
Beautiful.
So it's a tight community that we help each other. We are sharing our dreams, maybe what this means, explaining about about the nightmares, paralysis, vibrations, things like that. Any questions, you can post them there, and people gladly ready to help.
Yeah, I will post send me the links to those groups. I will share them in the show notes. And tell us also the name of your podcast once again.
The Dreamer of Today.
The Dreamer of Today. Oops, what happened? What happened to my thing here? The Dreamer of Today. Okay, wonderful. I'll share that in here. Listen, Jaime, it's been an absolute honor having you on the podcast. I salute you. You're a true leader with a heart. Keep shining your light, keep spreading your beautiful message, and keep blessing the world with both your presence, your message, and impact. I'm so glad that we connected, and can't wait till we actually meet in person and hear your stories and all that. So stay safe, my friends. Stay awesome. God bless you. We'll talk very soon. Take care, brother. Cheers.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate you and your audience, and many blessings to everyone. Thank you.
Very welcome. Cheers. Bye.
Bye.